Hey everyone, the numbers are in for Aqua in Panama City Beach for August 2022. I'm Craig Duran with the Duran Group over at Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices. So if you've been following the series, I'm doing these in a series now instead of just kind of releasing everything. So we've done, you may or may not know, but we've just put out Calypso video on that. We've got a Calypso video on Hidden Dunes and on Soleil together. We've got a video on Seychelles and Treasure Island together. We've got Majestic Beach, Long Beach, and Grand Panama together. Emerald Beach Resort and Splash, and now Aqua. That's going to be all the ones I do for August for the condo market, although actually I'm getting a request for Tidewater, so I'll probably do Tidewater also. Mixing it up a little. The reason I'm doing it this way now, as the market slows down and things aren't happening quite as quickly as they were in January and February, I want to get out certainly get the information out, but I think it'll be worthwhile sort of comparing buildings and see if all the buildings are acting the same in the market. Is one building hotter or cooler than the other one for whatever reason? So that's the reason I'm going to start to put some of these things together every month. I'm not going to group the same ones together. I'm going to start to put the ones that have similar characteristics together. So that's what I'm thinking on that, just to try to mix the information up for you guys a little bit. But Aqua, let's talk specifically about that. If you've watched any of the recent ones here in the last couple of days, this is a chart representing the Gulfront condo market for anything built since 2006. I just want to compare apples to apples, right? So the red line represents the number of units for sale. Remember, January, February, March, we had bottomed out on inventory or supply. We're now all the way up here. We've surpassed pre-pandemic inventory levels. This is September of 2020 over here, a few months into the pandemic, but we've already surpassed what was happening in the condo market before the pandemic rolled in. Months of inventory, I've explained this a few different ways in the videos, but just the brief version. Remember, in January, we were at about a half a month of inventory. Units were selling very, very quickly, meaning on the market all the way to closing in 2 weeks was the average. Extremely intense, extremely hot market. We've slowed down now to 10.25 months of inventory. Theoretically, that means that it would take 10 months. You wouldn't be surprised for it to take 9 or 10 months to sell something. Pricing yet hasn't pulled back, but the longer we stay above neutral market, which remember, neutral market is probably 4 or 5 months of inventory. So last month was 7 something. Now we're at 10. The longer we stay there, the more it's going to put pressure on pricing to come through. But one thing I really want to watch, and one thing I'm working on trying to get adjusted, remember that of these 205 units that are for sale in the market right now, 80 some of those are in one building. So realistically, this 10.25 number is a little inflated. I don't think the overall market is as cool as 10.25 months would reflect. I'm working on getting a search put together right now. The MLS system won't let me do it, but I'm trying to get something created so that we can do the math and see exactly where we are. Again, I don't think we're quite this soft. And let me show you what's happening on Aqua, and I think you might agree with me. So Aqua, same chart, just done for Aqua again. Same idea. We have more inventory, more supply in the last couple months than we did earlier in the year. Very generally speaking, March, April, May, Aqua was still on pace with about the rest of the market. It slowed down. July was at 7.5 months of inventory. Remember, the rest of the market in July was 7.4, so it's acting about the same. There's no data from August just because there weren't any closings, but check this out. No closings last month, but there are 4 that are under contract. And look at some pretty good numbers too. I'm working on 1902. The asking price is $1,075,000. 501 is under contract. The asking price is $1,099,000. You can see the rest of the other asking prices here on these units. It's going to be a pretty big change when all those close. If all those close, that's going to move the number in Aqua. That's a lot of activity for one building. I just ran through some of those other videos I mentioned, and like an Emerald Beach Resort and Splash, there's only one unit available, one condo for sale right now, or sorry, one condo under contract. But At any rate, good activity in Aqua. Pricing still holding pretty firm there. I don't see pricing across the board being pulled back as of yet. September is going to be another important month for us to see sort of the trajectory of where the market's headed. A lot of people are back to doing business. They're out of summer vacation mode in September. It's easier to show condos because there aren't as rented. So anybody who's serious about buying something doesn't have an excuse that, oh, I really want to do something, but I can't get in. So we're really going to see starting this month if the market is picking back up like it can normally. Are we taking off again? Are we going to get into a hot market? I don't think anyone's expecting that. But are we picking up enough that we hover out of, or we move out of buyer market territory into something that's a little more neutral? If we start to sell a few more condos like you are seeing in Aqua, then you might think we're sort of at a neutral balanced market, which would mean prices would be pretty flat, maybe even normal appreciation, 3, 4, 5% annually. If it's pretty quiet in September, you might have some people who really want to sell start to get a little more motivated to sell, which would be reflected on price, and you could see some prices coming down. At the moment, we don't see that. So that's it for the condos, although I probably am going to sneak in a Tidewater recording, and I'm going to go into a few neighborhoods next in the next video. So watch the YouTube series if you're interested. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Again, I'm Craig Duran with the Duran Group, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services.